What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Students of the Game podcast. I'm your host, Pablo. With me today is Dr. Jon Mudlaff, owner of Evolve Chiropractic Services. How you doing, bro?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you, man. Hopefully we can bring some information to people today that can help them to overall better their lifestyles and their health and their wellness, for sure. Right off the bat, man, what got you into becoming a doctor of chiropractic?
So basically, my story goes all the way back to middle school.
Sure.
You know, I always really loved sciences, so I always kind of wanted to be in healthcare. But then when I was in about 7th grade, I was in a snowmobile accident. You know, I was hit by a drunk driver. Wow. So I was knocked.
You were in the eighth grade?
7th grade. Yeah, so we were snowmobiling up in northern Wisconsin, hit by a drunk driver. No memory of the accident at all. Yeah. Just kind of woke up in a snowbank. Doctor said if I would have landed in like asphalt, pretty much would have shattered everything. Like, I'm not a big guy now, so you imagine me 7th grade, you know, I was probably like 70 pounds, 80 pounds. So basically the only reason I'm still here today is because I landed in the snowbank and kind of cushioned my fall. But yeah, I was knocked out for about 15 minutes, kind of just woke up. And you know, in like the movies, when someone like wakes up and they're just seeing through someone, right? And it's like all blurry. It's exactly how it was. Like, there's my mom and some other lady over the top of me, and I'm just seeing through them, and I see like the stars in the sky. And next thing I know, I'm in an ambulance getting rushed to the hospital. It's a 40-minute drive. I remember about 5 minutes of it because I kept coming in and out of consciousness. Sure. And then ever since that accident, I was getting headaches and migraines pretty much daily. You know, migraines every week to the point I'm throwing up from them. Then there's like brain-gut axis, so then I was having all these GI problems with it as well. You know, whenever I'd get a migraine, I'd throw up, I'd have diarrhea. So it was just, you know, a mess. It was, you know, a lot on my mental health as well. That really took a dive. And so, you know, my mom trying to do whatever she could to help, you know, her son with these headaches and these migraines. You know, we went the medical route like most people would go. You know, going to the medical doctors, their process is pretty much one pill after another, see if this works, and nothing was working. And you know, they're giving me antidepressants then because they're like, well, the side effect is it can help with your headaches or migraines. And you know, all of these other side effects come with them that my mom didn't want me taking all these different prescription pills. So finally she's like, let's just try chiropractic and see how it goes. And shortly after the first couple of visits, I started noticing huge improvements in the intensity and the frequency of my headaches and my migraines. And so I've pretty much been getting adjusted, you know, ever since I was in middle school to now. And I can't even tell you the last time I had a migraine. So it's helped me a ton, not only with that, but you know, with my mental health as well. You know, when you're in pain, when you're suffering, your mental health takes a dive. And, you know, with migraines, it's in your head, like you can't escape it, right? And it's just pounding and pounding. And so there are many times throughout, you know, my childhood, I was like, had those suicidal thoughts, you know, like my mental health was not there at all. So I'm very grateful for chiropractic, what it's done to me. I've been able to see what it's been able to do for a lot of my patients as well. And, you know, I get other people off these prescription medications that they don't want to, because I think that's where society's really wanting to go. No one wants to be taking all these different pills. So everyone wants to try and be more natural, more clean with their health, really be proactive with it.
Thank you for sharing that, man. I did not know. Maybe you had mentioned that you were in an accident before, but I did not get the details like you just shared. So, wow, man, it's nothing short of a miracle that you're still here with us, man. And I'm glad that I mean, it's a very unique story and inspiring story to why you got into the practice that you did. But yeah, man, I mean, with society, I feel like nowadays, or I mean, I guess in our society, most people want to tackle the symptoms. They don't want to attack the source per se.
Exactly.
Like, for example, instead of eating healthier or stuff like that, they try to go to see if there is a supplement out there that can quote unquote make them lose weight or whatever, give them a head start or an advantage instead of attacking the root at the source, the problem at the source. And yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. That really threw me. Sheesh, I was not expecting that story.
Yeah, it's
to be the reason why you got into your profession.
It's impactful. I hear that a lot, but it's really shaped my life, like because of that. If had that accident not happen, I probably wouldn't be a chiropractor today.
Yeah, and you are my chiropractor.
Yep.
I've been doing chiro for the better part of 10 years now. Me being an athlete of high demand sports, whether that be when I was playing soccer, when I was powerlifting, or even now that I do relatively intense weightlifting training. It's a world of a difference when you plug that into your recovery and into the whole spectrum of whatever your plan is in terms of your athletic prowess, or even just striving to become a healthier human being.
Oh, definitely. That's why so many professional sports teams and athletes, they all use chiropractic care too.
Sure.
I think like pretty much every NFL team, every NBA, MLB, NHL, they all work with a chiropractor, whether they're on staff or not, just because they see the benefits. It keeps their athletes healthy, helps prevent injuries, but also helps them perform their best when it comes to competition time.
Absolutely. What's the best part of your profession, of your job, the day to day, when you adjust people? What is it inspiring to you to hear, like testimonies of people?
Oh yeah, I don't think it matters what profession you're in. You love hearing the positive feedback.
100%, yes.
But yeah, just being able to help people who are struggling and seeing them get well and be able to then thrive in life. I work a lot with babies and kids as well, and prenatal clients. So I'm more of a family clinic, so I see people of all ages. And when a baby comes in and they're struggling from the start of life, and you're able to provide those adjustments to help them start to grow and develop more properly and really start to see them again thrive in life, and you see how happy the parents get. And, that's so rewarding, and that's what I love the most, is being able to help people from a young age to then set them up for future success.
Yes, and I've seen multiple videos of you practicing on almost newborns.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I recall this video of a crying baby. You were adjusting a baby that was just crying, and then all of a sudden you adjusted him or her. I don't remember. And it was like almost like miraculously, like it was like magic almost. Baby stops crying and goes into this like
they just kind of
just relaxed state, and you could tell that by adjusting the baby you helped it to become more comfortable even in that.
And I think it's important for the viewers to know adjustments with babies is nothing like adjustments for you.
1,000%.
It's super gentle. It's super safe. About the amount of pressure I use when I'm working with a baby is about the pressure you can push on your eyeball comfortably. So it's so gentle, and it's just a sustained holding that in the direction of correction, as we say. And you just see the tension release. And one of my coolest stories of like almost immediate, effect, I had this 10-month-old come in, and she had been doing PT for about 5 months. The mom said they're just trying to get her to crawl, and they're like, once she's able to crawl, you can be discharged from PT, because they were just struggling with quite a few milestones. And after the first visit, we worked with her SI joints, her pelvis area, and that she went home that night, comes back the next morning, and she's like, she started crawling last night. And then like within like a couple weeks, then she's furniture cruising and then walking. So it's like after that one adjustment, things just kind of took off for her.
For sure. Yeah, no, and that's amazing. It's almost immediate to me too when you would adjust me. it's like an immediate relief. It's not magic by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, you have to also take responsibility and ownership for your own health and well-being. But throwing something like a chiropractic plan to help aid that is of the utmost importance. And thank you so much for throwing that into there for the viewers. I am 100% believer in chiro. And with that being said, what is one of the most common misconceptions that you run into your practice? Because I know that there is a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize we actually are doctors. I hear that a lot, and you know, even like friends, family, they still like to joke like, "Oh, you're not a real doctor."
Absolutely, yeah.
So people are always surprised though to hear that chiropractors go to school for about 7 to 8 years.
Yes.
You know, it's a long process. There's 4 national board exams.
You got all these diplomas.
Yeah, 4 national board exams as well.
Yeah.
There's just differences in our curriculum because obviously we practice differently. You know, a lot of us is hands-on, so we're practicing our technique. Just like if you were to play a sport, you would practice technique over and over and over to be good at that sport. Well, chiropractic is our sport, right?
Sure.
So we have to be good with our adjustments, but we still study anatomy and chemistry and physiology and embryology, histology. So we have all these science classes too, and we just excel more with the lab part, the hands-on stuff. And then of course they have their rotations, whereas we just do a preceptorship that's about a trimester long or semester, depending on which school you go to, where we actually get to work in clinic, whether it's the clinic on campus or you can go work for another doctor elsewhere. So you get some more kind of in the field experience before you graduate.
Yeah, and do you guys have to do residence too?
So no, we don't do residence. Again, that's the
even before prior
prior
to that, I mean, looks pretty similar to any other.
So we do have
doctor that.
Yeah, we got clinics on campus no matter which school you go to.
Yes.
So you'll still be working with patients in a real life setting, but it's under the supervision of staff doctors.
Gotcha. And no, I've heard that one too before. I mean, chiropractors are not real doctors, blah blah blah, this and that, or it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo, Oriental bullshit, or even to a degree, I've heard that, which is a complete load of crap. I'm more asking of, let me share with you the ones that I hear. No, because I don't want them to crack my neck, or I don't want them to snap my neck, or stuff like that. And that's not to say that there's been malpractice. There's any profession in the world, anything. There's your good stuff about it. There's your bad stuff about it. There's not one profession in the world that's perfect or without fault. But those statistics are very low, very low. Yeah.
One I hear a lot too is like, if you get your neck adjusted, you're going to have a stroke, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard that.
I've heard that one too. Yeah.
So the studies on that actually show it. So it's, again, super rare that a stroke ever would happen. I've seen like 1 in a million to 1 in 5 million chance.
Right.
So you're more likely to get in a car accident on the way to your clinic, But what's actually happened, what some research is showing, is that the patient is actually experiencing the stroke when they come into the clinic. And then the doctor fails to recognize the stroke, gives the adjustment, and then is blamed later on.
Yeah, again, that is very unlikely to happen. That is like a perfect storm almost. Like you said, 1 in however million chance that might happen. Yeah, so those are misconceptions that I hear that about chiropractors, and I've never had an issue. If anything, the opposite, quite the opposite. I remember this was before I even met you. I had another chiropractor, and my back was hurting for some reason. I had just gotten done working out, and I didn't know what it was, but I was very uncomfortable. I'm assuming it's my spine or anything like that. Guy comes in, he pops my rib back in. I had slipped the little rib slightly and popped it out of kind of place, and then he popped it back in. Instant relief.
Oh yeah.
It was like, again, it's not magic, but it definitely felt like magic, because the next day I felt like $1 million and I was able to go back and learn from the mistake that got me to pop my rib out of place in the first place. So So
those aren't fun.
No, not fun at all.
To take
Very
a deep
uncomfortable.
Breath in. It's like you're being stabbed in the back.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll never forget how he came, adjusted, analyzed it, assessed it, and the situation, and just helped me out real quick. And with you, I mean, I never had my sciatica. Remember, I had my sciatica was really bothering me at the beginning, and that one's a little more tough because it's a nerve. But you definitely helped me out with just promoting the natural recovery of that. Had I not been working with you, it would have been a more longer and more strenuous recovery process to get back to 100% and do what I love, which is working out and just being athletic and overall. So.
You know, that's what chiropractic's all about, putting your body in the best position to then heal itself.
Absolutely.
You know, our adjustments don't cure anything.
Yes.
We just take the interference out of the nervous system, allow the brain-body connection to be restored so that it can then heal itself. We put it in that optimal state.
You said it way better than I could have. Eloquent. Very good. Yeah. Chiropractic's all about putting the body in the best position to cure itself. The body only wants to get better. I mean, the body is always but there's certain things that we can do that from the outside to just assist that process and make it a more convenient and efficient process for the body.
That's why out in the waiting room it says the power that made the body heals the body.
Absolutely, 1,000%. It's like getting a massage for your muscles. If your muscles are beat up, your muscles are going to recover eventually by themselves. That's what the human body does. But if you get a massage or you stretch, you hydrate, you sleep the adequate amount of time, your recovery process is only going to get better, and you're going to get better results. So chiropractic is no difference.
Yep. And then I'd say like the one other misconception I hear a lot is, you know, chiropractic's for neck pain or back pain. But again, if you look at my origin story, it was for migraines. So starting out back then too, you know, I had that same kind of misconception that it was back pain, neck pain stuff. That's what chiropractic's for. But then once I started to see the improvements with the migraines and then went on to chiro school myself, you realize it's all about the nervous system. So we see people recover from all sorts of things. You know, I've had people get off their anxiety medications. We see blood pressure decrease. We see, I have a baby who was having seizures, no longer is having seizures. Had others who had speech delays are all of a sudden talking like crazy. And again, it's because it's all related to the nervous system. So if you look at the spine, it's protecting the spinal cord. That central nervous system runs from the brain, the skull, all the way down the spine. When the spine is experiencing dysfunction and stress, what we call subluxations, when those vertebrae become kind of misaligned and those joints become fixated, there's a lot of tension surrounding those soft tissues, it irritates the nerves in that area. So depending on where along that neurospinal system this is occurring, it can relate in so many different symptoms and health conditions. And that's why when we, again, work with our clients, we're almost like electricians of the body. Okay, what are your symptoms? What nerves control these organs or these glands that are being affected? Trace it back to the spine, and then that's where we're focusing our care on. And again, that's why we see so many different conditions improve. It's not just neck pain, back pain, headaches, migraines, but a whole broad spectrum of your health-related stuff.
Nice. Yeah, it's you're very thorough, and you're definitely methodical about your practice, and that's something that I really admire and respect from you. And that's why you're the only chiropractic service that I promote at my gym.
I appreciate that.
No, absolutely, man. Because I believe I can only promote something that I 100% believe in, and your practice is definitely that. Yeah. So speaking of, me and you are both local business owners. I wanted to talk about the struggles of being a business owner, an entrepreneur. I feel like a lot of people see the outside of it. Like they see you succeeding, reaping the benefits of your hard work. They see me being super successful, reaping the benefits of my hard work, and they only see the tip of the iceberg. Those guys, it must be nice. It must be nice. That's the one I love to hear, but I hate to hear at the same time. Because I'm like, yeah, it is nice. I worked my ass off for what I got.
Exactly.
But just share with the audience what it's like to be an entrepreneur and a local business owner.
Well, obviously I love it.
Yes.
It's kind of the American dream, own your own business, be your own boss, kind of practice how you want to practice. But it can be stressful, for sure, especially starting out those beginning months when you're trying to generate new customers, new patients.
Getting established.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Growing your clientele, growing that client base.
Yes.
So it can be really stressful, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, a lot of paperwork and bookkeeping, stuff like that people don't see. They see, again, they see the successful part of it. They don't see all the behind the scenes stuff. So it is a lot of work. Like you said, we worked hard to get to where we are now.
Absolutely.
It's not like just kind of open doors and it just blossomed, right?
It wasn't like we woke up one day or he woke up one day and said, I'm going to open a clinic, and then money just started pouring in, It does not work like that.
It takes time to really grow something.
Yes, and I love having this conversation with people like you, people that know what it's like. Even it doesn't matter how successful you get. I like to think of it as success is not owned, it's rented, and rent is due every day.
Yep.
You're only gonna get it out of it as much as you put in.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's the part that a lot of people don't see. That's the part that very few people appreciate. And for example, I had a run in with the member today, which was super inspiring for me. The fact that they acknowledge and recognize what I prioritize in my business, in this case, my gym, what I take pride in. For them to recognize that and just thank me, that means the world to me, because I'm like, okay, it pays off. It's people do see these things, and it's not like as few as they may be, the people that actually can appreciate this make it all worth it, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, especially you, because you started the gym in your basement, right?
Right. Yeah. So I started my gym in my basement, but I've been in the industry even before then. I was in the industry for about 6 years. Yeah. 6 years. So day in, day out. Yeah, but it's not easy. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. And I've seen you grow. I mean, when did you open this clinic?
I opened this about, I think, like the same year you did. I opened up in June of that year. 2022? I believe so, 22.
So yeah, you were about a month before I did. Yeah. Yeah, which is crazy because we didn't meet until you went into my gym, and that's where we got to know each other. And it's been amazing to see you grow, man. And congratulations, kudos, keep it up.
Thank
man.
you. Yeah, same for you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Any other advice that you want to give people in terms of whether it be business related, chiropractic related, or anything that you want to share?
So, one thing I learned, if you ever hear of like Gary Vee, some of these big YouTubers, influencers, stuff like that. Yeah. So one thing that he said that actually kind of spoke to me as well was, while you're young, it's kind of the best time to take that chance. You don't have a family, you don't have kids, and especially if you're going to start your own business, you're going to take a pay cut at some point. So
tell me about it.
Starting out, as young as I am, either I could have gone and worked for other chiropractors and been paid well, and then later on in life when I'm trying to start a family, had to take that pay cut to build up a practice. Yeah. And starting young is kind of like the best time. You've got that energy, you've got that desire, that motivation to really get after it. You don't have a whole lot holding you back, and so I just kind of took that leap of faith, started it up, grinded, put in all the work to get it to where it is now. And it's slow growth. It's not like it just blew up overnight. But
for sure.
I would say just kind of go for it. Like if you have your plan and the numbers check out, go over your financial stuff, run the numbers, and as long as you have a good business plan, I'd say go for it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that's great. That's great advice. Just take the jump sometimes. I mean, you got to have a plan for sure, but you got to execute the plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, take the time to structure a plan. Ask for advice. Ask for anybody that's been is where you potentially want to be anybody that's in your field, go ahead and ask for advice. They know stuff that potentially could set you, they give you a head start, set you with a huge advantage at the beginning, an advantage that they didn't have. And don't be afraid to ask people for advice, because there is people out there that really want to help you and see you succeed.
Like even me, I have chiropractic coaches. Like I still get advice from people that have been doing it for years. You know, they've got like $1 million practices. I'd be a fool not to take their advice.
Yeah, and that's very wise.
You know, listen to those who have already done it, so that they can help you along the way.
Absolutely.
You know, don't try and go at it alone.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Very, very well put. Very well put. Let's say somebody is still on the fence about getting chiropractic services, getting adjusted, just taking that first step into stepping into a chiropractic clinic. Is there a specific point of advice that you would like to tell them, or you know, like in your experience, what is something that you could say to that person that is on the fence still, that will bring them into the just to talk about it, just to kind of get their basic information?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, in my opinion, chiropractic's like the number one thing that everyone should be doing. You know, there's no such thing as a spine transplant, right? You can't take your spine out, put a new spine in. Again, and then the health of your nervous system, which controls everything in your body, is directly proportional to the health of your spine. Yes. And we're seeing way more, I'd say, degenerative changes in younger ages, because think about the spine. So the neck should have kind of a C-shaped curve where the convexity is going towards your throat.
The spine, if you look at the anatomy, and I'm sorry to cut you off, it's naturally curved. Yeah.
And you know, but so many people, what are kids doing these days? They're looking down. They're on their phones, their iPads, their tablets, computers. Even, you know, as we get into the office workers, adults who are hunched over all day. So we're seeing so much stress on that neck part of the spine, that we're seeing degenerative changes at such earlier ages. And when we lose that normal curvature of that neck, what actually starts to happen is it starts to stretch the spinal cord. And that's going to put even more tension and stress on that nervous system. It's a big trigger for headaches and migraines in a lot of people, but again, it can trigger so many other things related to anxiety and stuff like that within the neck region. And again, as we travel down the spine, we get into cardiovascular, GI digestion, bladder, stuff like that. So there's really a lot of things that you may be experiencing that you don't realize could benefit from chiropractic. You know, we had a patient in here this week, comes in with knee pain. Well, okay, I'll take care of that because I work with extremities a lot, but I'm a chiropractor, so I'm going to assess their spine. So we did x-rays, and we can see her spine has all of these degenerations already starting. And she's like, well, I don't have pain yet. And it's like, well, if you go to a dentist and they take x-rays and they see you have a cavity, are they going to be like, and you tell them, oh, it doesn't hurt, are they just going to send you away? Like, okay, come back when it hurts, right? No, they're going to fix the cavity there. Exactly. So same thing, you don't know what you don't know with the health of your spine. And it's better to be proactive and get it taken care of now before it progresses into, you know, more complicated conditions in the future. And it doesn't have to be, you know, an intense care plan right away. We can see you, you know, once a month, twice a month, and get you to a more stable position. Because what happens when we have, so when I talk about stress on the spine, what causes stress on the spine is because of lack of movement. So those joints become fixated, kind of going back to that subluxation term I used earlier. Similar as if you're working a lot with your hands, you know, weightlifting or any, you're looking at your hands and you're working out either weightlifting or working a manual job, you build calluses because that's your body's response to stress. So looking at your spine, stress again, lack of motion causes stress on the spine. And what starts to happen is basically your brain is almost telling your spine, like, since this area of the spine isn't moving the way we want it to, let's just try and fuse ourselves together. So you start to get that decrease in those disc heights, which is that cushion between each bone of the spine. And then these bone spurs start to form because it's trying to grow together and fuse itself. And rather than being able to protect itself like a callus would do on your hands, it actually starts to cause the opposite effect. So you get more pain, we start to get more stiffness, and again, more nerve irritation as well. So it just creates even more issues. And then again, it becomes even more difficult to try and fix as an adult. It's much easier to grow healthy kids than it is to fix broken adults.
For sure, for sure. Professional, a master of his craft. I mean, thank you so much for that information. Very eloquently put. A couple of things that stand out from that those comments that you made. Number one, the fact that nowadays we got all this stuff that's available to us that quote unquote can make us less mobile because we don't have to depend so much on physical activity. Can build bad habits and therefore create problems to the spine. I have a question for you. Another thing that popped up. How much is posture due to genetics?
So, I wouldn't really say posture is genetic.
In terms of genetics. Because I see a lot of, I've done some research. Some people say that it's mainly genetic. Some people say that you can fix your posture. And I believe you can't fix your posture. I mean, you can change your, almost to a degree, your genetic code and all that stuff by implementing certain habits to your lifestyle. But excuse it, but maybe I asked that question weird. But you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
I think I get what you're saying. I don't look at posture as a genetic thing personally. I look at it as, again, when I talked about how the health of your spine or the health of your nervous system is directly proportional to the health of your spine. Well, your posture is a direct kind of indicator of the state of that nervous system. So when we talk about the nervous system, we're looking at two divisions. We have one that's called the sympathetic nervous system and one that's the parasympathetic nervous system. So that sympathetic nervous system is what is responsible for that fight or flight mode. So it's that stress response. You know, very uptight. Usually people have a lot of kind of tension throughout them. There maybe a lot of anxiety, and so that person is going to be kind of sitting like this all the time. You know, a lot of desk workers. They're really stressed, or even like blue-collar workers, people working in factories or manual jobs. They're very sympathetic dominant. Their body is stressed. They have a lot of muscle tension, and usually they're hunched over, right? Whereas, and that's more of a guard and protection. So sympathetic also goes fight or flight, and also guard and protection. So that, you know, being in flexion, that's guard and protection. Whereas parasympathetic is the wellness cycle. So that's things like growth and development, which is important for babies, kids, but also rest and digestion, relaxation. It's kind of the wellness cycle in our body, allows us to really, again, express ourselves. So parasympathetic is going to be associated more with extension. So when someone's up, standing straight up, you know, their chest out, very vibrant. You know, that's a confident person. That's someone that you're thinking, okay, that's very parasympathetic state. You know, they aren't in this very frightened guard and protection mode. So when I think of posture, I'm looking at it sympathetic versus parasympathetic. And again, sympathetic is going to be more of that slouched, parasympathetic upbeat. That's going to be more extension, more upright.
I'm going to kind of like, I'm not trying to debate you or anything like that, but wouldn't that by definition mean that some of that would be genetic because of like maybe your parents or your lineage or anything like that?
So we can kind of go back to that prenatal period with it. So naturally, I mean, you can draw almost anything to genetics to a degree. However, your environment, whatever you grow up, like for example, your parents, if your dad grew up in a more harsh environment, and then you're born into a more nourishing environment, although you still have those genetics with you. I mean, they all kind of throw in their factors. You might have little different things that can differ from your parents. However, you still have so the environment you grow up in is going to have a lot to do with how your health is shaped into. 1,000%. Kind of when I was talking about that prenatal period, so we see a lot of babies that are experiencing a lot of, you know, difficulties and challenges when they're born. We always ask the mother, you know, were you having a very stressful time throughout your pregnancy? And a lot of times they were, and that's important to know because that baby is going to be more in a sympathetic state then, that fight or flight. Because not only is that umbilical cord there to provide nutrients to that baby, it also links the mother's nervous system to the baby's nervous system. So that stress that mom is experiencing, that baby is also experiencing while in utero. And the first things to develop in that baby is the central nervous system.
Yes.
And so if it's primed to develop in a very stressful state, that baby's going to have more challenges throughout life unless we can really start working with the baby at a young age, start to release a lot of that stress and tension that's built up in that nervous system, get them more into that parasympathetic state so that then they can grow and develop and thrive like they're supposed to.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense, and I could see you why you implement the certain practices that you do when it comes to in this case particularly babies. So okay, I guess there's some truth to both. I mean, if you can draw it back to genetics, but at the same time your environment can, because I can tell you right now, for example, I used to slouch. And my mom used to yell at me all the time. And then I go back and look at pictures of my mom when she was younger, and she used to slouch.
Too, yeah.
She used to slouch. And then I made an effort to not slouch, to fix my posture. Working out really helped, strengthening my body, tightening my body up, really helped me out with that. And the environment versus the genetics, kind of put them together. And I'm blessed that I've never really had any like spinal problems or anything like that, aside from my sciatica, which would be spinal, I guess. But other than that, no like bulged discs or anything like that. But yeah, that's where my question stems from. Kind of like I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit about that. So thank you so much for that information. So that's awesome. Yeah. So about how many patients do you have right now? Active patients are you seeing right now? And are you still by yourself?
Yeah, so I'm still by myself, kind of a one-man show at the time. Sure. Sometimes it'd be nice to have another person in here to do all the front desk stuff, but I make it run pretty smoothly for the time being.
You do?
But on an average week, I'm usually seeing between 50 to 60 at the moment, people throughout the week. So I think once I get to like 60, 70, I'll definitely be considering more getting a receptionist up front for me for sure. But yeah, for right now, an average week is probably around 50 to 60 clients, and it keeps me busy. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. Today is a Friday, so Fridays are a little more calm.
Yep, Fridays are half day for me.
Yeah,
so
you have to do that. I mean, people that don't understand, Fridays are quote unquote a half day for me too. That's why we decided to shoot today. People don't understand how difficult it is and how necessary it is to cut yourself. So it's like a lot of people think that when you're an entrepreneur, you're a business, you should go boom, boom, boom. And sometimes that it calls for that, but rest when you can and make time to recover yourself, because burning the candle at both ends, there's nothing really necessarily to brag about there. I when people are like, yeah, bro, I'm running on 3 hours of sleep today. Bro, go get some sleep. That's nothing to be bragging about. And I learned that the hard way. And now I'm starting to make more time for myself and enjoying the fruits of my labor a little bit more, because tomorrow's not promised.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I strive for excellence in everything I do, and so do you. But at the same time, you got to make time for yourself to recover.
Yeah, you got to have that. You got to find that work-life balance.
Work-life balance, exactly. And it's tough for us because we work outside of hours too. At home, I'll be working, but I found a system where I can, like you said, be able to keep that thing a little bit more balanced, the work life. So awesome. So yeah, man. I wanted to give you a moment to give the audience plug your practice, your company, and give everybody the where they can go find some more information, inquire about your services and all that.
Nice thing about,
especially our local audience that listens to this,
Yeah, so like he said, I go to his gym because it's convenient for me. It's right down the road. It's about a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
So I can shoot over there during my lunch break. So yeah, I'm located right in Oak Creek, right across from the high school, kind of behind the Pick and Save, if you know that area.
Yeah, do you have a website?
Yep. So
we'll throw that up here right now.
Yeah, that's evolvedchiropractic.com. You'll be able to see, kind of read more about me, myself, the practice, kind of services we offer. One thing that isn't on the website that I am now offering though is nutrition. So we have supplements that are offered in clinic, but also any patient of mine can order online my supplements.
Sure.
So the company I use doesn't sell direct to consumer. You have to go through a physician because they're higher quality, they're organic, GMO free, all that good stuff. So if you sign up for our newsletter, we can shoot you over that code so that you can then have access to our online supplement store too.
Yeah, sweet. And you have social media and everything like that too?
Yep. Facebook and Instagram, Evolved Chiropractic. You'll be able to find us on both those.
Okay, cool, sweet. Yeah, definitely check him out, especially if you're in the area, local area. For my local audience, definitely check him out. He's a tremendous professional, and he's definitely made my life as an athlete a whole lot better. Not just as an athlete though, but my everyday life. I'm not even joking. I've been sleeping better. I've been my nutrition's been better. Just overall more of a efficient way of living once you plug in the adequate recovery, and chiropractic definitely goes in that category. So one last piece of advice that you could tell people, it can be whatever, I mean, to strive to live a better and healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, the sooner the better. That's all I've got to say. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait till that spine's all degenerative, you're having arthritis. It's easier, again, like I said before, to grow healthy kids than it is to fix broken adults. So the sooner that you are proactive, the better your health will be, the greater your longevity.
Yes, better to prevent or try to prevent than to try to fix after the fact. That's I'm 1,000% believer in that. Well, yeah, John, we'll wrap it up here, man. Thank you so much for the information. We'll do this again. It's always a pleasure talking to fellow fitness enthusiasts. I throw chiropractic in that category, and I'm a fellow business owner / entrepreneur. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the like button in the bottom. We'd love to hear your comments on today's podcast. Also, if you guys have any questions regarding today's episode, whether it be about John's practice, any chiropractic, any sort of health questions that you may have, we'll try our hardest to answer those. If we don't know the answers, we definitely know people that know the answers. So don't be shy to ask those questions. We love healthy society. A healthy society is a better society, in my opinion. So please, any questions that you guys may have, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments. Also follow us on our Instagram page, our TikTok, and our X, on our social media pages, please. Thank you so much for listening again, John.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, bro. And guys, don't forget to never compromise excellence.